is going to be the X factor in the West?
Hands down, Russell Westbrook. Why do I say that? Russell Westbrook has the talent to win the NBA championship. He has the talent to beat the Golden State Warriors. That's how talented he is. But the one thing Russell Westbrook has to do, he's got to be efficient from the three-point line. He's got to run his team. He's got to read coverages, make the right play, time in and time out. And in the fourth quarter, they have to run some symbol of offense. They cannot play hero ball. They can't jack up shots. It can't be your turn, my turn type of basketball. They have to play together as a unit and get a good look every single time down the floor. But a guy who just averaged a triple-double in 3 straight seasons on call, rest in peace, Nip, put up a 20-20-20 game. I just got chills. You can't tell me that this man does not have the talent, or that's a question. So by far, this is the biggest X factor in the Western Conference.
He just said that he has the talent to win the championship. I got stuck on that. I couldn't hear anything else after he said that Russell Westbrook is going to single-handedly, or is capable of single-handedly beating the Warriors. I think Russell Westbrook is definitely an X factor in this series, but they played some of their best basketball this season when Russell was playing his worst. It's hard to argue that he's the X factor on the team when it seems like the health of Paul George's shoulder is probably more important than that. But frankly, it's the Thunder. We have no expectations for the Thunder. No one really cares about the Thunder. I think some of us are trying to drum up this idea that we think the Thunder can beat OKC.
I disagree
when
with
it's
it.
not, when it's not real.
You didn't really mean that, right?
Nah, he didn't.
You don't
He
think
didn't.
Russ can actually single-handedly carry the Thunder over the Warriors?
Absolutely.
Don't make him.
Absolutely. Hold on.
Really?
Have you not seen Oklahoma City's roster?
Yeah,
this is the most athletic team in the entire NBA. They have size. They're versatile.
Hold up.
Paul George, they got a star because the biggest headache for the Warriors. Hold on, who can guard Kevin Durant one-on-one? Paul George.
Didn't we just come out a segment where he said athleticism? You can't athletic your way to a finals where you talk about Giannis. I can't keep up. Which way are we going?
And you just heard me say that.
And then he said that they're so athletic that they can beat the Warriors, despite the fact that the Warriors have the most skilled shooters. Which last segment, skill was important in the East, but apparently the West is about athleticism.
And you just heard me throw out that one of the things he will have to do and improve upon is three-point efficiency and running the team.
Everyone gets better at shooting threes between the break between the NBA regular season and the playoffs. That happens.
He's got enough.
But to be clear here, in a segment where I thought we all agreed, we might have massive disagreement. You believe that Russ is such an X factor. Such an X factor.
Don't say
that his performance can carry the Thunder over the Warriors.
Oh, he said it again.
Absolutely. There's nobody on the Warriors that can stop Russ if he has his mind to it. But that's part of Russ's biggest problem is that when he gets in his own way, he forgets everybody else on the floor. If you look at Oklahoma City's roster, defensively, they are absolutely elite. They've improved their shooting. Ferguson has grown up. Grant's grown up. And guess what? Hold on. And don't sleep as if a healthy Paul George is not arguably an MVP in the league.
Can I say one small thing? I feel like we have a comedian named Lil Rel coming up, but it's no way that Lil Rel can be funnier than Ryan Hollins just was. This was the funniest thing of the day. He thinks that Russell Westbrook can single-handedly beat the Warriors.
And now that we've clarified that point, now I know I have disagreement with both of you. First of all, that's absurd. Russell Westbrook could average a 20-20-20 against the Warriors, and they're not going to beat the Warriors. The Thunder won't beat the Warriors regardless of how great Russell Westbrook is. However, I believe that he is an X factor. And this is where I disagree with you now, Dominique. There are expectations for the Thunder. It isn't to beat the Warriors, but it is as a minimum to beat the Trailblazers, which they are the underdog on. Both BPI and Las Vegas believe the Blazers.
You don't believe that, though. Use some common sense as an analyst. Use some common sense, bro.
Vegas,
don't even throw that. Stop throwing that out. Use some common sense.
And BPI and the seeding favor the Trailblazers over the Thunder.
Why are you throwing that out? Stop saying that.
I believe, as illustrated by your voice just now, most of our expectation is that the Thunder should beat the Trailblazers. Most of our fan and analyst expectation is that Russell Westbrook can and should carry them at least to the second round. So I do think there's expectations on the Thunder. I do think at some point we're going to have to see these stats, these triple-doubles.
Right.
These Thunder, who have not won a playoff series without Kevin Durant. They have not escaped the first round without Kevin Durant. We have to see Russ's performance translate into playoff success. I don't believe, once again, that means taking down the Warriors.
Stop. Let's not. Don't bring that up ever again.
But I do believe it means getting to the second round.
Hold on. Are you aware that they have the defensive versatility to match up. Now, the problem comes in being able to score the ball, and obviously the efficiency in the ball movement. That's where that team lacks. No one just goes out and out-talents Oklahoma City. It's never that they don't have enough talent. It's the problem is they don't play together, and that goes on Russ. That's on Russ.
I don't disagree with you, but back to your point about the expectations. Like, I agree, they do have some expectations, but by and large, I don't think we care much as a fan base about Oklahoma City, because after Kevin Durant left, then it was the feel-good story about Russ, and then it's the feel-good story. What? Paul George decided not to go to LA and he stayed in OKC. I think the fan base in there, it's not like a huge media contingency focused in OKC. The fan base there is happy with those guys and happy with having them there. If they lose in the first round, we won't be talking about that at the end of this season. We'll be talking about what happened with the Warriors or what happened with many of the teams.
You're not a fan of Russell Westbrook?
Many of the teams with
You're not a fan of Russell Westbrook?
On the eastern side of the
You can't like basketball if you're not a fan of Russell Westbrook.
Of course, I never said I'm not a fan of Russell Westbrook.
You just said who cares, though?
I think it's not going to change my opinion. If they lose in the first round, I'm still a fan of Russell Westbrook.
You need to be extremely disappointed.
If they get out of the West, then my opinion starts changing, but they're not getting out of the West.
With no Nurkic and an injured C.J. McCollum, you mean to tell me you don't expect them to get past Portland?
I expect
and you
them to.
Would be disappointed?
I expect them to, but if they don't, I don't care. Like, I'm moving on.
You're not a fan then.
Well, just like
I'm going to
the
leave it
East,
at this. In the East, I believe an X factor has the ability to swing the entire conference. I don't believe that in the West. The X factor, who we all agree is at least a Thunder, you said Paul George, we said Westbrook, has the ability to get you to play the Warriors. It's the most predictable side of the NBA playoffs, so an X factor's ability to impact it is much less. But it's still Russell Westbrook. And we care. We have expectations.